Let's go!
I first started getting really into music where I would come into Boston for concerts because I grew up just in a suburb in Massachusetts. And whenever I went into concerts, I would just take the train in for the night and come back. And I just remember the feeling of being so excited and so happy about the band I had seen. And I would just fangirl and like try to meet the band and like go on social media and get so excited about it. And I knew that I wanted to do more with just music industry in general. I remember talking to a girl and she said that when she started school, she joined Council for University Programs, or CUP, and she got to bring like a salad to Cage the Elephant, which was one of my favorite bands at the time. And I just remember thinking as a freshman, like, this is it. I found the club that I'm going to do throughout college. My favorite part of organizing concerts is definitely the brainstorming process because it feels never ending and way too big to be not stressful. So you're looking at all these bands, you know about how much they cost. When you see a band that you think people will connect with, you just like tend to feel it, and then you're like, okay, I'm like all in on this band, and then you end up like reaching out to them. So I think the process of finding the artist that you really want to have come is like the best. And then whenever I'm booking a show, I run it by CUP and say, how many of you guys have heard of this artist? Like, do you think that they would do well? And if no one's heard of the artist, I definitely stay away from them. And my upcoming show is Honey. And Honey's just like kind of fun pop, like indie, like tiny bit of punk, I guess. But like they're just like a really fun band, and I think it's gonna be a really cool show.
Yeah, you good, Kev? Yeah, thanks for having us at your Starbucks. We're a band from Los Angeles. We're called Honey. We're gonna play some rock and roll pop music, okay? Let's have a good time.
The issues that I was having was I'm like trying to figure out who our opener is going to be, and we went through like 3 openers, and so our final one that we found was Yeek, but they keep on asking for more money, and so I don't know if you think that they would be worth it.
If you think that's going to be worth it because it's a stronger opener than like trying to bring in someone last minute that might end up being local.
So in order to plan a show, once you know what artist you want to get and how much they cost and everything is approved, that's sort of like a loose approval, and then you actually have to go through the contract process. So we fill out information for that, we send it over to the artist and they sign it. In the meantime, we have to deal with like things like insurance, like kind of boring, but then they'll send over like lists of foods that they want and like different demands that they have for day of show, and we'll have to do setup for different like instruments that they're gonna bring if we're gonna actually get backline and have to bring in like extra instruments. I've said this before, not to doubt myself. I think that this will not be one of the ones that caps immediately. So if you guys could like share on social media. But yeah, like if you have anyone in mind, I just think it might need like a little bit more attention. Whenever I think a show might not cap, I reach out to the marketing team in order to find out if they can do some social media posts or we can set up some tabling. I think tabling is a really good way to connect with the students on campus because sometimes people just won't see a social media post if they don't follow us. And with tabling, they'll sort of run into us and we can answer their questions. And then after that, day of the show, I tend to be like completely focused on food for the artist because it's like the one thing that'll like make them feel really comfortable. And so I tend to be setting up their green rooms and then making sure I'm meeting the artist when they come in, sitting through their sound check, just making sure they're in the right place at the right time and that they're comfortable and don't need anything else. I think selfishly, I want there to be a good amount of people there because that's just like the biggest goal that I have with all of my concerts. But the main thing that I always look for is a couple of people that are having such an insanely good time with their friends. Like my favorite part of every show is going backstage and looking out and just seeing the people in the first row that are like smiling right up at the artist that's so close to them. So I think I want to put on concerts where people are like dancing and just having a really good time. And I think Honey and Yeek will do a great job at that.
Right now, Honey is on and it's going really well.
You know what? Go ahead and hit it, Joe. Oh, 'cause she is so. Thank you all very much. That's all I'm doing, okay? We've been honey. Thank you all so much. Great fun. Everybody have a good week, okay? Study hard. Alright? Do your thing. Thank you for having a Starbucks. I love the cloud macchiato. Thank you. Everybody have a good night. Thanks.